Most popular train? Least popular route? Question mark?
Hear my D to the E to the L to the U to the X to the E to the top. Smacking.
Hello there guys, Quaddy Afro here. Welcome back to another video and another episode of, second episode of SCR Logbook. And we are continuing in our lovely Stepford County Railway series on the channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the people that watched episode 1. Glad to see that you guys are commenting and liking the idea of the series and what we're going to try and do to kind of like show basically everything that you can do in Stepford County Railway, of course. Again, anything that you guys want to suggest, leave it down in the comments down below. I'll try and get to it at some point. I want to try and be as balanced as I can with the things that I can share and do. We'll try and get maybe say like every line done, every train done, that kind of thing. But it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And look, another video by me, you know, something's happening. Miracles are happening all over the world. Anyway, I'm back in Stepford County Railway. And today, as I said in the little bit of the intro, I'm going to be driving on potentially, I would say it's probably one of the least popular routes to do. Maybe once upon a time it was popular, but I don't see it as much as a kind of route that people do drive. And I'm going to drive one of the most popular, probably the most popular train on the actual game. It's the one that's even on the title page on the website as well. It is of course the 707, the Desiro City. It is literally, I think it's one of the most popular next gen train when it came out. It's a staple piece, I think, and represents, I think, when you think SCR, you think of the 707, the Desiro City. It's quite the brand image for this game. You have other things that can be, I know the 158 as well is kind of a brand image, but the 707 is one of those ones that pretty much everyone has, everyone plays, bar the 357, which obviously the 357 is the first train that everyone gets for free and you basically do most of your grinding on, and that's probably the most popular train, obviously, in terms because everyone has it. But I would say the most popular train that you can get, unlock, buy, whatever, is the 707. So I'm going to do the 707, and I'm going to do what I think is probably one of the least popular routes nowadays. It's the Stepford Victoria to Berrily service, kind of like a shuttle service, 10 stops. It is also because each route has its own kind of like code. It is R008 or Romeo 008 if we want to get all rail technical, if you want to speak rail language. So I think the Berrily service is very underrated. It might have been popular once upon a time. Obviously you have like the Morganstown service as well, which this part of the map doesn't get as much love as it used to, because obviously with things extending, things getting updated, new parts of the map, new services, new trains, everyone just jumps onto that. It's even saying maybe even with Whitefield and Stepford United services there, it's kind of unpopular, but let's just go to what I think is the most, well, not the most unpopular route in the game. There's the Waterline. I'm talking in terms of maybe Connect. Out of the Connect routes, I would say the Stepford Victoria to Berrily service is probably one of those routes you don't think of straight away. And that's fine. You know, that is absolutely fine, because, you know, it just means that people like me can drive on it and have a nice time, not worry too much about who's on it, what's happening, you know, that kind of jazz, really. Obviously, 707, one of the, I would say, cooler cabs in the game for what the cab is. It's a very nice cab in real life as well, very nice. You don't see many. The thing with UK trains is older trains used to have that kind of sort of desk sort of feel, I think, and the more newer sort of maybe middle-aged trains nowadays have like less of that, and it's just more like a panel in front of you. And then Siemens, obviously, because they're the ones that Siemens Mobility make the Desiro Cities, it's very European, where you still kind of have like sort of like a desk in front of you. I know like the trains that I drive, say like a 315 has a sort of kind of desk area because it's a very kind of like old BR type train, and then you have the 345s which don't have, it's just like a kind of panel that curves around you. And then also 360s, which I drive, have like a sort of semi sort of desk kind of situation going up. It's very reminiscent to obviously the Desire City, because that's the thing that succeeded the Desiro family of trains. Right, coming up to Stepford Central. Just gonna put my little schedule stop
This
here
train
on the
is
right.
now approaching Stepford Central.
See, we have some Airlink services
Financial Quarter.
running today.
And Stepford Victoria. This train has 5 coaches.
As we come in. A bit laggy on this server. I think it's quite a full server actually, so as we come in, one of the only trains, even in real life actually, just let me come to a stop and I will let you know what I was gonna say. One of the only kind of trains in real life and just in general that has the pocket sliding doors, not the pop out. They're very good.
Stepford Central.
They're very good for the kind of type of fast boarding, cuts dwell times quite a lot. Pop-up doors really, if they're pneumatically operated with air, can take quite a long time. Like older Desira units were air operated doors would pop out, and they take very very long to open and close. So dwell times there like are increased quite high, while these are just like bang, open, bang, you know.
This is a Connect train.
And they're
to
mechanically operated.
Stepford Victoria. The next station is City Hospital.
I don't know, tell me in the comments down below, guys, what would you consider
City Hospital.
What would you consider the most popular train in Stepford County Railway, and what would you consider the least popular route?
And Stepford Victoria.
Now maybe I should actually break it down a little bit, because obviously Waterline is definitely the least popular, it's the less popular kind of thing I think out of everything on the map to play. But if you were to comment down below and tell me, what do you think is the least popular route on each of the lines? So least popular route on Waterline, on Express, on Airlink, on Connect, and then tell me what do you think the most popular train is in the game. There we go. Let me see if I have any people.
This is a Connect train too.
No one yet going quite Yafro. Oh, you're in my game. I had a lot of you guys comment in the first episode. I had a lot of you guys in the first episode comment like, "Oh, I was in your game. I was in your server." But these guys, I don't know. Don't think no one's good. Again, do apologize if I don't use the chat. I do have someone that's on my friend list that's in this game, but everyone else is just, luckily they don't know. They don't know.
This train is now approaching Financial
Sometimes it's just better. Sometimes, you know. And again, I'm not rude. I don't see it as rude if I don't reply in the chat. I just don't use the chat on SCR. I never have. I rarely use it.
Only. This train has 5 coaches.
I think at some point as well in the series, in my SCR logbook series, I'm going to have to do some dispatching, because I am at a dispatcher rank, so I can dispatch at stations if I so choose to. Obviously, there's some really nice prime locations for dispatching. Of course, like Stepford East is probably one of those ones where like it's quite nice to dispatch on. There's others. Interior is quite nice as well of the 700. I think the 700 has one of the kind of nicest interiors in my opinion.
This is a Connect train to
Sounds very
Stepford Victoria. The
authentic.
next station is Stepford Victoria.
And now we come into Stepford Victoria, which I do believe is real station that it's based on is, I think, either Charing Cross or Cannon Street. I think I'm gonna lean more towards the side of Charing Cross, I think, based on the bridge. Because on Charing Cross you have like two kind of separate bridges that go into the station on the
This
approach,
train is now approaching
while Cannon
Stepford
Street's a more
Victoria.
kind of open
This train
space sort of
terminates
bridge.
here. All change, please.
Right, coming into Stepford Victoria, where this train
Now approaching
terminates.
platform 1 terminates here. This train is the service from Stepford Central.
Ooh, there we go. I don't really... Me personally, I don't really like playing on the 707. It's a rare sort of train I actually play on, to be honest. It's not my kind of...
This is Stepford Victoria.
I get why it's popular, but
This
it's
train
not really
terminates here.
not really for
All
me.
change, please.
There we go. We do actually have some more terminating services coming into Stepford Victoria. I've never seen... It's very rare you see a lot of trains in the terminus of like places. I've seen like Stepford Central like full with trains. I've never seen Stepford Victoria full with trains. I've probably seen platform 1, 2 and 3 full. Never seen anything in 6 or 5. I think maybe I've once seen something in 4, but it's very rare you get like a full sort of lineup of trains. Right, we're gonna
Platform 1.
continue the schedule.
52. Stepford Connect service to Berrily.
Barely we are
Cornhill,
coming for you.
Financial Quarter.
But this
City
is the,
Hospital,
in my opinion, one of the
Stepford
most
Central,
unpopular
Stepford East,
or
St.
least
Helens
popular.
Bridge, New Harrow, Ellesmere Pond, Ellesmere Junction, and Berrily.
Barely.
This train has 5 coaches.
Good. Personally, I think it's one of the least popular routes to play. I would say Morganstown, the Stepford Central to Morganstown route is slightly more popular. This is just my opinion. There's no like fact or like, oh, one's definitely more popular or less popular than the other. I just think this route is the least popular. But for me, this is actually one of my favorite Connect routes to actually play. If I look at all of the Connect stuff, this is actually one of my favorite ones to play. And when the line down to Morganstown with like Airlink was really popular, let's get going here. When the line down to like Morganstown was was crowded with loads of like Airlink trains, because Airlink basically had most of its like trains updated to next gen first.
This is a Connect train to
It was
Berrily.
It was really
The next
popular to
station
see
is
like loads of
Financial
Airlink
Quarter.
trains on the express lines down to Morganstown, and I think literally when you were traveling on Connect and driving on Connect on that, you could see loads of Airlink services pass you by. And that's one of my favorite things to kind of do the Berrily service, because then if you had other Connect services doing to Morganstown, it's a nice mixture of like stoppers to Morganstown, stoppers to Berrily, and Airlink services passing you up and down. And that's like that's why for me it's one of my favorite routes to actually drive, when that section of the map was actually populated with a lot more drivers than it is now. Obviously now when you go towards like Lymm by the Sea, you kind of get that same thing when you're doing a stopper service on Connect, and you can see the express
This
services.
train is now approaching Financial Quarter.
But I still prefer, I like the stretch to Morganstown. I think it's very underrated now with all the other stuff now like
Cornhill,
added.
City Hospital, Stepford Central, Stepford East, St. Helens Bridge, New Harrow, Ellesmere Pond, Ellesmere Junction, and Berrily.
Now,
This
Financial
train has 5
Quarter,
coaches.
I think that would scream out to me with this station is probably
This is Financial Quarter.
Platform 2 for the 1254 Stepford Connect service to.
it looks
Stepford,
very
Victoria. Calling it.
it looks
Stepford,
very like
Victoria
Blackfriars,
only.
but the station that
train
is
has
actually
5
Blackfriars is
coaches.
actually on the water line. And you see, look, 707s everywhere. Like I didn't say it was popular for like no reason. It is really popular.
This is a Connect train to Verily. The next station is City Hospital.
Oh god. I was there we go. Someone already. I was in QWERTY's video. Well, now you're in a second video of mine. It's probably driving the the other 707s that I'm seeing. But yeah, definitely
This train
go.
is now approaching City
We'll definitely
Hospital.
cover maybe like the waterline next, as a on the series, potentially, or potentially do something Airlink.
Platform 1 for the 1254 Stepford Connect service.
We'll do
to
everything
Verily.
at some point in this series, so don't worry if you're commenting down below. Oh, can you do this? At some point, I will get to
New
it.
Harrow, Ellesmere Pond, Ellesmere Junction, and
Obviously,
this train has 5 coaches. Your attention, please. The 1257 Stepford Connect
is
service to
City
Port
Hospital.
Benton has
it's been cancelled.
This is due to a member of train crew being unavailable.
But yeah, I will get around to doing stuff in the series. Like, there's a lot to do. There's loads of different trains. There's loads of different routes. There's so many different combinations I can do, and I just want to try and get as like a good balance of what I can basically share
This
with
is
you
a Connect
guys and
train
on
to
this series essentially.
Verily. The next station is Stepford Central.
It's quite a high speed limit here, where you get up to 75, but you actually don't really need to because it goes down to like 45 just before you enter the station.
This train is now approaching Stepford Central.
Stepford East, St Helens Bridge, New Harrow,
There we go.
Ellesmere Pond, Ellesmere Junction, and Verily. This train has 5 coaches.
The one thing with Connect services that I do not kind of like per se is I don't like how most of them originate from like Stepford Victoria and Stepford Central in terms of the new extension of the express
Stepford
route.
Central.
Because if I just show the map, if you want to go to like Lynn by the Sea, West Wyvern, that kind of area, the kind of Leighton Zone area and beyond, you have to start at like Stepford Central. I don't think you can do Stepford Victoria unless you're like doing a class 68, I think. I'm not too sure about that.
Platform 1
But
terminates here. This train is the same.
essentially, you have to do the whole kind of route. And I wish there was more variety, because there's a good variety of routes. Don't get me wrong. The variety of routes is really, really, really strong. But I wish there was some more variations of routes where you could do more routes that are like on the other side of the map.
This is a Connect train too.
And of course, this is
Verily.
Stepford County Railway. Everything
The next
originates
station
or
is
kind of going to
Stepford
originate from
East.
the Stepford area. But it'd be really cool to see some more services that are not just, that don't just originate on this left side of the map, but also kind of maybe you have like, I don't know, a Leighton to Lynn by the Sea service, or a Benton to Lynn by the Sea or West Wyvern, stuff like that. Like, you know, so you don't have to do always that kind of left section of the map, and you can do the kind of like right section. It's a bit like Airlink, how Airlink has services from Stepford to the airport, but then they also have a service from Leighton to the airport as well. So it's like 2 parts in a way, which is really nice. Even a bit like Waterline, where the Waterline has everything starting from like Newry and then going to like the 3 different branches. But also you have like the Port Benton to Greenslade kind of part, which is like away from Newry. So you have like different variations of like
This train is
the
now
route, if
approaching
you understand what I'm trying to say.
Stepford East.
But that's what I mean, kind of in terms of some variation. That's why,
This train has 5 coaches.
like, I would like to go to Limb by the Sea and do a connect service, or West Wyvern and do a connect service, but sometimes I don't want to do the full kind of stretch. And I know you can then also spawn at a particular you can spawn at a particular depot and do like half of the route or quarter of the route, or just start the route at a small part at
This
the end.
is Stepford East.
But I would love to just be able to essentially just have a route that's like a small part of it, or like a shuttle on like the ends, the other end, the right end. And of course here, Berrily East, lovely, basically London kind of, it's London Bridge essentially. And it's probably one of the busiest stations on the map. It's probably one of the best stations to dispatch at.
This is a Connect train to Berrily. The next station is
And
St.
then
Helens
next
Bridge.
station, St. Helens Bridge. I really like the remodel of St. Helens Bridge. I think it's one of the nicest modeled stations on the whole map. It's just a nice balance of straight platforms. It has a curved platform. It's just really nice. And I'm already like 2 minutes behind, but it's very hard to keep up on the timetable unless you're speeding and breaking rules.
This train is now approaching St. Helens Bridge.
While I just say speeding and then I'm speeding in a 45.
Calling at New Harrow, Ellesmere Pond, Ellesmere Junction, and Berrily. This train has 5 coaches. Your
Right.
attention, please. The 1305 Stepford Connect service to Stepford, Victoria has been cancelled.
Oh, look at that perfect stop
This is
board
due
there.
to a member of train crew being unavailable.
This is St. Helens Bridge.
Let's see what other people are on. So there's a Berrily service, there's a Stepford Victoria service, and there's a Leighton Stepford Road service. Very nice. What I like also about the stretch to Morganstown is obviously Morganstown services have a different stopping pattern to Berrily services, so it brings a nice bit of variation to some stops basically get past, and it's all nice.
This is a Connect train to Berrily. The next station is New Harrow.
And off we go on probably the least populated section for now, currently I would say, in the game. Because there was a time where there was a lot of people did this line, and as I said, in my opinion, I think it's probably the least popular route. I would say, things like the Stepford United
This
and
train is now approaching
Whitefield is still more popular
Harrow.
than doing this section.
Due to a short platform, the doors in coach 4 will not open at this station.
Now that whistle board,
5 coaches.
I'm not going to do because obviously I'm stopping at the station, but if you were passing the station, you would obviously do it because there is a crossing right here in front of us. And nice. And I have been reading your comments about like
This is
potentially
New
doing other Roblox sort of train games, such as I know there's like the Snow Hill lines, there's GCR, there's loads of other kind of stuff. I'll potentially think about doing a series maybe of like bringing back like a sort of thing of QWERTY tries and do it in a kind of Roblox sense where I try different like trains and transport sort of games potentially, but not right now. I'm not too interested right now in doing that. It's a bit like too much just
This is
going
a
all over the
Connect
pace and
train
just
to
I'm going to start
Berrily.
this SCR series,
The next
see how it
station is
goes,
Ellesmere Pond.
do quite a bit of it, and then once I feel like cool, I want to maybe dip my toes into some other things, I will definitely give it a go at some point. So you can suggest what you want to suggest, but I'm not doing anything straight away in
train
the
is now
near
approaching
future of like other
Ellesmere
train or
Pond.
transport games. So,
Due
but I
to a
will.
short
I have it in
platform,
mind. I
the
had it in
doors
mind in
coach
thought.
4 will not open at this station.
And
And again, there with the
Berrily.
whistle board,
This train has
as I'm
5
stopping
coaches.
at Ellesmere Pond. No need to do it. Technically, I should do it when I actually depart the station, but it's like so close. Like
This is Ellesmere Pond.
like if I did it and people were standing there, they'll probably go like deaf. And I've been in front of a train, right next to a train in front of it, and someone has like did the horn, and literally your ears will. Okay, I think these platforms used to be quite short for 5-car. And there is, of course, Ellesmere Pond.
This is a Connect train too.
But yeah, I've been what,
next
during training there was a
station
thing where like we
Ellesmere
were
Junction.
doing coupling stuff, and
This train is
I was
now
in front of a train, and then by
Ellesmere
mistake one
Junction.
person hit the horn, and literally, like, horns are loud. Train horns are very, very, very loud, and especially if you're right next to a train, right next to the horn, your ears will be ringing. And it like literally shakes you out your skin. They're loud. Trust
This
me.
is Ellesmere Junction.
But yeah, I think 707 actually wears the Connect livery quite nice as well. There's quite a few different little variations with the Connect livery, obviously. Some trains have like more black around the windows to reflect like their real life variations. You have like a Pride livery on the 350. You have a 3 million visit livery on the 331. There's loads of different variations
This
as
is a
well.
Connect train too. Verily.
On Airlink,
The
you have
next
like mainly the
station
new
is
kind of orange
Verily.
Gatwick Express sort of livery, but then you also have the 332, which still has the old yellow, blue, white livery, but has the kind of new Airlink logo stamped on where the old livery used to be on. So, but yeah. And speaking of the end, we're coming up here to Verily, where this train terminates.
This train is now approaching Verily. This train terminates here. All change, please.
Stepford, Victoria.
Probably the nicest little bay platforms on the line. I do like just the kind of scenery here of Verily, like the sloped brick walls as well. It's a very nice bay platform. It's like it's one of my favorite. It is probably one of my favorite Connect lines to do, and especially when the Airlink Express lines were busy. When, like, as I said, loads of new Airlink trains, next gen trains came out. It was just really nice going back and forth here, seeing loads of stock and loads of traffic up and down. Not as much anymore, but that's why I'm doing this in this series, where we're looking at the, I would say, as I said, least favorite kind of route. Oh no. Let's get.
This is Verily. This train terminates here. All change, please.
Yeah. But yeah, that is Stepford Victoria to Verily. That is a little kind of shuttle service. It is, as I said, I think one of my favorite kind of routes to do. It's, you know, it's a shame, again, this part of the line isn't as popular as it used to be, because there was a time when it was. Maybe at some point again it will be. But this is my take on the most popular train and the least popular route on Connect. Probably not the game. But again, leave in the comments down below what you guys think is the most popular train in the game, and then what's the least popular route to do on each of the different services. So least popular on Connect, least popular on Express, least popular on Waterline and on Airlink. And I'd love to see your responses down below. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of SCR Logbook, and I'll see you in the next episode. We'll probably do some Waterline maybe, or potentially Airlink, and then at some point we need to get on and maybe do some dispatching, and maybe even potentially do some passenger rideabouts and stuff like that. who knows? But other than that, guys, take care, have a lovely day, and I'll see you very soon.